Hey everybody, this is Grace, and in this video I want to talk about some more changes that I think will come up. Could be wrong, but come up because of the pandemic and all that. And I think first I'll start with something that Adam had said early on, really, when the first push for everybody to go back to work started, to reopen the economy and all that. And Adam's view was that that's happening because the rich people who benefit off of people working, they don't want the employees workers, to figure out how important they are. You see, one of my first thoughts was that before that was that it will become more of an employees market. Okay. But I also feel, like there's got to be a lot of changes. I've been saying this on various channels I have, that there has to be a lot of changes. And that's going to push, businesses, especially like these big corporations, to have to go into, making it safe. And they've had, 2 months or so to start doing this, and we don't hear like on, the news, whatever news channel, I have yet to hear anything about how some of them are just small ones, little things. But what about big ones, big corporations and all? Okay, I wanted to get that out. Now, what about, changes in things like education, technology, manufacturing, along this line? I have said in previous videos that I do think that, the people that are stay-at-home, working from home, not stay-at-home, but working from home, that weren't previously in these businesses, I think that that's going to continue for many of them, unless they're very controlling, or if they've had employees that slacked off. From what I've heard so far, it seems to have benefited people. I would think that it would. Both, the employers and employees and the world. Yeah, not so many cars on the street and stuff like that. Less smog, less, pollution, without so many. Plus, people get to work early. Those who have to go to work, they don't have to worry about so much rush hour traffic. Here, man, the highways and the back roads even are like parking lots. When in rush hour traffic to and from, of course. But I think that's going to change. That's going to change a lot of things. And I have more on that, but I want to get to these about, the technology. I've mentioned a little bit about education. And I do feel like, there needs to be free education, really, for everybody. That's I'm talking about here in the United States, the free education, because we really do need. I think this is pointing out how there's a lack of, especially critical thinking and logic, analytical skills all around. There's just a lack, and something has to be worked on in that. But one of my concerns is along the line of that, because of what's going on and how some people are looking at it, that there might be just more, them hiring scientists from within. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Somebody was walking behind me, but anyway, not in my yard, just on the sidewalk. Anyway, they're going to push this to have more scientists here in the United States to take the jobs and all that. Just stuff that is giving me the feeling of stuff I've seen on the news. We need great minds from, my opinion is we do need great minds from various countries and all. But I'm kind of concerned, that it might push to be that they only want to hire people from within. That is a concern. Okay. The whole thing with technology, that would be also together, more scientists and more educated people, and the technology, I think it will definitely have to change, and more people will be going into that kind of field, I feel, because there will be more done from home, okay, and in various ways, various, areas. But yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, there are some things I've heard. I don't even know what they're called, but you can basically remanufacture, or you can make certain things from home on some kind of printer. That was like, what? Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, all I had heard, I was just kind of shocked. But I think because of, more people working from home, there's going to be more Wi-Fi, more, we're having Wi-Fi issues. Our Wi-Fi stopped working. It had been working just fine, then it stopped working, and we called, and they said you need to go pick up another router. They wanted to have somebody come in and install one. And I said no. You know, I don't want anybody in my house. They could be infected with COVID-19, and they said, well, we make sure that they're not going out sick. I said, how can you? They can be asymptomatic, and you also have to think of how they've just visited somebody else. And all that. I know. And they don't know the people they're visiting, they're going to their homes to do stuff. They don't know if they are. They didn't ask me. You see? So, no. So he went and picked up a router, we put it in it, called him back. A lot of on hold calls, time on hold was like 50-something minutes each time. Not the first time, and not really so much bad, I think the second, but altogether 5 times. Okay, yeah. And there's going to be more people doing that, for one thing. And, or more corporations doing it, more different ones. Variety, give people more of a choice. Anyway, and immediately we started noticing things that him working from home, it kept knocking him off. His, remote connection and stuff. And, we went through all kinds of things with that. And basically it was go get another router. So he went back to get another router, and this time he said there was at least 20 people. It was wrapped around the building, and, people waiting in line. And of course it didn't make any difference. And I called somebody, and she said that all other, that we have 5G and 2G. It's the way it works here. And that all devices try to fight for the top one. Whatever. Anyway, during the day when he's working, I can't be online, or it'll keep bumping him off. And on certain devices. It's very weird. And so during the day, I really don't have much connection. But anyway, this is something that, needs to be worked out. They need more employees in that. And I really do think that people need to start learning, like the free education thing, people need to start learning new areas to go into, because the world has changed. And it will be changing. And that's this kind of technology at any level, people, more and more people should go into it. Now, that's up to the people themselves. And I think education should be open to anyone, no matter how bad or good they did in school, and they get a choice. And there's more, there's more advisement and more help to gear people toward what they are capable of doing. More testing for them, and that to find this out. What area are they better in, and it'd be their choice too. Giving options and saying this is the best doing it. But if you want to continue. And instead of just people failing out of a field, so they wouldn't have a choice. They would have more guidance, more counseling guidance in that. Okay, I believe in other videos I've mentioned this about, the corporations and all. They're going to need to build, for those who they must go back to work, to build more. Like Cubeville. I don't know why anybody would have to go back to work or have to work in Cubeville. Well, there's some reasons I can see, but at the same time, I think there needs to be more advancement in that. But if there's going to be a Cubeville kind of thing, people in cubes, there needs to be, more space and more better ventilation for them to kind of reduce this, because who, do we think this is the only one? No, we know better. And yeah, so people can practice social distancing and the air is better. I don't think anything would reduce any chance 100% in that kind of thing. But yeah, and I had heard on some news network this about a robot or something that cleans the air. Yeah, I want to find out more about that. Don't quote me on it. I don't even know yet. But for certain. And anyway, they need to build more. And I also think I mentioned more that they need to build, to me, this is just my view, I could be wrong, but they need to build bigger and more, like manufacturing plants, or whatever it is, like, the problems they're having right now with meat plants. What do they call them? Do they call them plants or processing centers or something like that? I've heard different ones, I guess. But yeah, they need to build more. They've had these 2 months. Why didn't they even think about it? And make them more secure, more ventilation, make it better for, the employees. So more testing, and yeah, all that. But I do think that there will be more of a push, and I think many people, and I think I've said this before, many people would already feel this. I've heard it. I know I had the thought, so none of this would just be me, I don't think. But that more needs to be made, like here in the United States, USA, more needs to be made here in the United States. And I think that's going to be a problem for especially, like big corporations that are used to outsourcing, this kind of work, and for pennies in comparison to what they would pay somebody to do it here. I think many people think like that and see that would be an issue. And yes, it would probably, they'd try to put it back on the consumer, but I really think there need, like, let's go back to this education. Yeah, people learning, yeah, okay, we're not going to support you if you're not going to support us. But, and I'm not just saying it's just corporations and, all that, but the outsourcing thing, I remember when I really started hearing a lot about outsourcing, and at the time I was dating, I don't know how many years ago that was, 15, 16, I don't know, and I was divorced, dating, and I hear some noise, somebody talking. Anyway, I dated these two men. I was doing the online dating thing, and I met one, and then I met the other one, after you don't hear, back or whatever, or you don't know, and I dated this, I don't even remember, it was so long ago, but this other one, but both of them turned out to be guys who did the thing of going to different countries and, or I guess both of them did, and tried to do the outsourcing thing. Both of them, it was just like, wow, this is surprising. And one was so proud of himself because he was a Republican. The other one was, I'm a Democrat. And I just found it difficult to believe their attitudes were so much alike for them to be in different parties. See, I'm an independent, so. But anyway, their attitude about outsourcing, they were so proud of it. And I just found it difficult to believe. Like I said, that two different parties agreed on something. But yeah, as it turned out, they were both jerks. But yeah, seriously, they were wealthy guys, but they were both jerks. And doesn't it often go together? But I'm looking at my notes here. But yeah, I just thought that was so. I was mixed. I'm an independent. Yes, it's good for other countries. It's good that it's hard to see, think of every job as just ours or something like that. But at the same time, when they're using people, that's the worst to me. Paying them pennies for jobs instead of, paying a right, amount. It's just wrong. But for some people, that's all they can survive. So you see how it's hard. It's a difficult thing to, make a real strong determination, on how I see it in that. Yeah. But anyway, okay, I finished those notes and on that topic. But right now I'm about to go to for the first time in probably over 2 months. I think it's like 2 months, 2 months and almost 2 weeks or something like that since I put gas in my SUV. And I come out here and make videos. I've driven it twice, just around the block kind of thing. And since this, and I think one time and early on, I went and got some chicken, a box of chicken. But I am seeing, that, I do see that I need to drive it, not just turn it on. But all that, okay, and I come out here and make videos most often once a day, okay. Sometimes none, but usually at least once. And I'll run it because it's Texas, and first it was too cold, and now it's it gets too hot to sit in. And I don't want to have my windows open because I'm afraid one of my neighbors is going to come up to the window. And yeah. But anyway, all that time, I'm just, let's see, I see the half mark, and then there's one, what would you call that, little mark under it. That's where it sits after all this time. But we're going to take both of ours and put gas in them. I don't know if he's going to put gas in his or not. He didn't say, but he's been lately the one to run, and well, I haven't so far. But he goes and gets the groceries, pick up instead of them being delivered. Most of them, yeah. But anyway, that's just under a half a tank in all this time, and that's 2 months, and like I said, 2 months and probably about 2 weeks. Yeah. But I bought this SUV brand new. A year ago this month. I don't know what day, but a year ago this month. And it only has 2,786 miles on it. I think it had 100 and something when we got it. So, yeah, I wonder if it's even going to get used much. If this keeps pandemic, how they talk about vaccines, and some of them, that Dr. Bright, was that his name, has said that the quickest they've ever made a vaccine is 5 years for anything. I don't know if it was I don't know what it was. I shouldn't say. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. I saw it when he was doing that thing. But, yeah, I mean, how much is it going to get used? I wanted to use it to go to, historic downtowns, and I wanted to do all that, but never did. In a year, man. Anyway, wrapping this up. I'll talk to you on another video.